Good morning, my loves. How are you? I hope that you're doing well. I know that these solar flares, accompanied with everything else we've had going on with the eclipse, the season change, the sign change, all of those things, I wanted to let you know I did record a free solar flare support guided meditation energetic session on my other channel to support and soothe the nervous system during these flares. So I will drop that in the pinned comment, or you can find it at Danielle Wilt, my other channel. That felt like an important priority to address really quickly since just this week we got sort of pummeled with multiple high class solar flares. And I know there's one incoming towards the planet just as I'm speaking around this weekend, specifically like a 9X class, and it's headed directly for Earth. So care for yourself, rest, resource, do whatever you are guided. But if you would like that additional support, please feel free to listen and partake in that as many times as you would like. Today, with this energy that's coming in, I'm actually guided to also talk to you about some energies that have been coming up in a lot of different ways. And it's around the energies where the twin flame divine counterparts, both feminines and masculines, are in the process of resolving any old leftover obligatory energies. So this is just those energies of obligation and feeling that you have a duty to do certain things a certain way. And this is not to say that you may not recommit to those things in a new way and in a new alignment, but it feels that we are being called to clear out, dissolve, and resolve any of the energies of obligation to things. And I don't know about for you, but for me, obligatory energies make me quite uncomfortable. I'm not a fan of doing obligations, but I'm also not really comfortable when people feel obligated to me for things. I really just like that genuine open flow of energies and people feeling like they have the space to do things genuinely from their heart and from first being committed to themselves. I feel that it's important that people have that first commitment to themselves and then they can choose what they're comfortable committing to. But in the old energies, we oftentimes were born into, say, obligatory traditions or beliefs or ideas or ways of doing things. And I want to state also that it doesn't mean that though all of those traditions or beliefs were wrong or bad, but I'll use myself as an example. I absolutely love the idea of a home and a family and some of those traditional elements, but I really don't agree to those if I have to squish who I actually am in the process. So I've committed to authentically being all of who I am as a human so that I can show up in a home, in a family, in an environment fully as myself, but not out of obligation or guilt or shame or expectation, but in an environment where I can actually fully show up genuinely and in my authentic energy. So for me, that is a priority that I'm committed to. That's just an example. Okay. So again, it doesn't mean that we're getting rid of things that resonate. It's that we're actually unraveling, dissolving, and resolving the parts that sort of kept us stuck feeling that we had to do things a certain way to fit in. Now, I know many of you have already been working on these types of things deeply, but it was guided to acknowledge this because I actually feel from a larger collective perspective, the divine sacred masculine collective is going through a very big process with this exact thing where they are learning to commit to and prioritize themselves. They're getting to know themselves deeper. In Trust me, the feminines are doing this as well, but the feminines were blessed with this space as the masculines held space for her to sort of already go through some of these levels. But the feminines are also experiencing this. Many of you, let me know what you're experiencing in the comments, but I think a lot of the feminines may have already experienced a few layers of this, and she's sort of getting down to some of the nitty-gritty nuances of where she's realizing some of those residuals may still be left over. And so she's still working more deeply on that. And on the masculine side, there was that deep sense of duty as the masculine collective was holding space for the feminine to go through that process. So the masculines are even being released and able to resolve that obligation, right? Because it was a beautiful one that they held for the feminines, but now they get to move into a much deeper state of learning and embodying self-commitment to their own internal truth. And this is a very, very important priority for the masculines so that they can actually commit to themselves in new ways, which is very important for themselves, but also for the feminine, because in order for all of us to come into these sacred union, divine union energies, a big part of that with this inner union is that capacity to be in self commitment, in self alignment, right? Because that gives the foundation to be able to hold space with others in their self commitment, right? And then you move into those co creative energies. And without sacrificing your authenticity, okay? And this is important because, yes, at the soul levels, we know this, but actually unraveling out of the old programming and being able to step into our true authentic nature starts with, as we know, self love, self unconditional love, and commitment to the self in the highest timeline, the highest potential for yourself, gets the ball rolling and gives you a specific focus. Whenever you're uncertain about anything that you're going through in your twin flame divine counterpart connection or within your ascension or evolution journey, your awakening, whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever you're sort of working through so that you can discover what is true for you. It's just really your beautiful guidance is your self trust and your internal compass. None of us are going to have the same exact path. And you had your own unique experiences growing up and being born and living your life on this planet up to this point for very specific reasons. You have unique ideas and gifts and perspectives that are welcome and necessary and important on our planet. And so it's really most important that you take the parts and the pieces that work for you. Okay. And an example would be the other day, there was sort of a question around, do you have to be intimate with your twin flame to come into full divine union? Okay. And this question came in speaking about like, well, Christian and, there's this energy of not of being celibate or abstinent until marriage. And so for me, in this one particular instance, what comes through from an energetic standpoint, most importantly, is that there's different stages of union, and it starts with that internal union. So all you have to do is trust yourself, trust what feels aligned and true and right for you. And that is going to be your guidance to your full, true, divine union energies, my love. And this is a process that we are going through. Okay. So people may even be in a committed divine union marriage and living together and growing a family, but they're still in the process of embodying the divine union energies in the present moment each and every day. And it's just like everything else. We are always learning and growing as long as we're alive. So I won't dictate to you what full divine union looks like, okay? But is being intimate part of it? Well, sure, absolutely. But there's lots of other things and lots of other elements that come into it. So instead of worrying about it looking an exact, perfect, certain way, it's more about embodying the energy and the essence in what it means for you and what your guidance is, building your self trust with your guidance. Because also know that if you're feeling certain ways and you believe certain things and that feels aligned for you, that is what is needed within your connection. Okay. In what might be the exact perfect things for you and your counterpart to guide what your purpose is together in your connection. So, again, to me, this is about sort of unraveling and dissolving the energies of needing anything to be a certain way, realigning with your highest power, your connection to source, to creator, to God, and to trust that you will receive the information and the guidance that you're needing in each and every moment that is aligned for you. And if you're ever uncertain, my doves, that just means it's time to be still and wait until you receive the clarity. Okay. This is really about being gentle with yourself, trusting yourself, sort of navigating the layers and the nuances of what feels aligned for you, and then allowing yourself the space and the grace to let that evolve each day. Okay, my loves. So again, it brings us back to that energy of commitment to the self. This is also bringing up another question that came into my mind that was on the last most recent video around what do you sort of do when one of the twins is in a marriage and in a relationship and you're not quite feeling comfortable being fully energetically open while they're in another relationship. And I feel, again, this is also where whatever you're feeling, your first commitment is to support yourself in what feels aligned for you. Okay. In each and every moment. So you may start off having like a clear boundary, like I can't participate in that given the circumstances, but giving them space to process or experience whatever they need to while you focus on you. Over time, you may find that you're experiencing your connection and there's different sort of experiences at each level. Okay, because like in the 3D you may be in no communication, in the 5D you may feel the energies, and in the higher dimensions you're always in that energy of oneness at the soul level. So you're learning how to navigate the connection from different perspectives, the same way you are learning how to navigate your energy and your intuition and your heart and your human self in those different layers. Okay. And as you're embodying more of who you are, then you're also going to be more deeply able to embody into the connection in a way that feels aligned. Okay. So you may have that energetic boundary around no communication in the physical, and you may have an energetic boundary in the astral realms around simply just having communication, but having boundaries around the intimate energy. Okay, that's just an example. It's really up to you to set what your standards are, and your emotions and your feelings are going to express to you and dictate what feels aligned. Ultimately, your goal is to support yourself, to feel in a loving space, to unravel or support yourself away from anything that is hurting you, is which is where you'll know to set your standards, and then give it space to allow them on the other side of that to process that standard. And over time, you will notice that the connection will shift. Okay. I could probably go much deeper into this topic, but I kind of wanted to touch on it really quick because I think sometimes, especially the feminines, but masculines as well in these circumstances, may feel like, okay, I know this connection is here. I know I have a commitment to it, but how far and how much, like, am I meant to participate in and support? Well, you can support anything at the higher levels and support whatever their process is, but it doesn't mean that you necessarily participate in those things in the physical world, okay? So going through this as a process, and it's okay that it's a process, and it's okay that you don't know all of the answers up front. This is actually the gift that the connection is providing in giving you the space and the time and the grace to embody into your authentic standards in nature and embody what you actually truly want to experience for yourself, while simultaneously holding the unconditional non-judgment for your counterpart with whatever decisions they are making. Okay. And it's a dance. We can know these things at the higher levels and that we want to embody them. But if you're not fully embodying that neutrality at this moment or all of the time, that's okay. You're in the process. It does not mean that you won't get there. You may even experience it at times, but then still hit pockets of things that are triggering you. That's okay. That's the process where you're embodying. And you will notice that it will get easier and easier. Even if you go into more intense topics, many of you are going to notice that you are recovering and processing much more swiftly because you are retraining your system. You're retraining your thoughts. You are retraining your beliefs into dropping into sort of understanding that you have the capacity to rewrite these old energies and to embody into the standards of what you want to experience moving forward. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I do feel guided to do a recorded meditative session around supporting the resolution of these obligation energies in making more and more space for self truth and authentic higher energies and soul embodiment. I'm going to be doing that. I'm committed to doing that over on my Patreon tier 2 membership within the next 24 hours. I will have that link in my pinned comment. And when I post it, I will also make sure that I put it in the community tab of this YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out or feel guided to, I'll make sure that's available. It's probably one I will also just have as a standalone on my web store if you do not want to go on Patreon and just like to sort of do your own individual thing. I honor that as well. All right, my loves. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you're doing well and taking care of yourself during these very, very intense, transformative times. But we're really moving into these much deeper, more physically manifested energies in that preparation for more physically manifested union energies. And again, this goes for all of you. No communication, little communication, some communication, full blown committed relationship and marriage and home. We're all working at our different levels of these union energies. And you're all exactly where you are meant to be for the unique and special gifts and talents that you bring in the codes and the keys that your divine sacred union is in the process of creating and co-creating. All right, my loves, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I'm sending you so much love and I'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.